Good morning. It is the 4th of June, Wednesday. It's just coming up to 10:30. I thought I'd come out to do a couple of hours during the day. I'm a little bit bored, to be honest. I haven't got any private jobs booked in. I've been out, I've done the school run, been to the gym, and yeah, I'm just a little bit bored for a couple of hours until I do the school run again. So thought I might as well come out, see what's happening, which I'm going to guess not a lot. But yeah, it might change. So yeah, I'll keep you posted in a bit. So 11:30, I'm an hour in. Hasn't been too bad. First little job I was driving past, which was in Ormskirk, a £3.77. It was a 4-minute job going just over a mile. And then I got a job which was Ormskirk to Southport, £11.57. It was a 27-minute job going 9.1 miles. So I thought, well, I'll take it. It's a pretty much straight run, it's not too bad. Bearing in mind the job that I just had before that was only £3.77, and it was a cash job, so it's only the second cash job that I've done. So the first one I've done, which I think was last week, the girl was under the impression that she gets cash in return, so I had to explain the Uber credit side to her. She knew what the cash was, because she's obviously done it before. I said to her, it's only the second time I've done a cash job, to be honest. What a bit of a kick in the dick was from Uber. I got paid £11.57, however I was told to collect £21.04. So Uber has taken basically 50% for that job. So it's yeah, it's a bit of a pain. It's a bit of a I'm all for businesses making money. I've got a couple of businesses myself. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. But yeah, when a customer's paying £21 to go down the road, which is a half an hour job, and then Uber's basically saying, right, we're going to pay Paul £11. It basically just reiterates what everyone's saying. Uber wants to keep drivers on £20 an hour. So yeah, it was a bit of a pain, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I don't think they have to take 50% commission, but what can you do about it? Go and get your own private operator's license and do jobs yourself, which is what I do, to be honest. So yeah, after I'd done that, I then got another job which was 1 minute before the hour ended. Oh no, it wasn't, sorry, because it was 5:30. Sorry, ignore me. The next job after that was 1 minute to 11. And that was £7.34, and that was a 12-minute job going 2.8 miles. And that was about it. So basically for that first hour was what, 11, 17, 18, £21.70. So all in all, not too bad, considering on that other job Uber took 50%. I still can't get hold of it. It's just it's not just so much like Uber, it's other companies that do the same. It's like I've only done one job for that OTS as an operator. The jobs that come on there, honestly, they're so ridiculous. I know it is just purely for like return jobs. So like if I've got a private job to Manchester Airport, they offer jobs going from like Manchester Airport to say Southport, and they only want you to bid like £44 or less, and you're thinking, who's running from Southport to Manchester Airport for 44 quid? It's ridiculous. It's honestly, it's so insulting. But basically, if you're at the airport and you're coming home anyway, or you kind of heading that route, then it's going to take you like an hour. So in hindsight, it's not too bad. But when jobs are popping up for £44 from Manchester Airport at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're at home in bed, for you to get to the airport is like an hour. Plus, you're in bed because it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And then to drive from there to Southport is an hour. So then you're thinking, why are you going to do all that mileage and all that job for 44 quid? Oh, sorry, bearing in mind they want you to bid £44. That you need to incorporate the pickup fee as well. So by the time that other like £5 or £6 comes off, you know, you're on like what, £38 for 2 hours work. It's shocking. So anyway, I've only done one, and that was on Sunday. I was heading towards Liverpool. I've got a business down there, so I had to drive down there anyway. And a job had popped up on the OTS, which was a collection from St Helens going to Liverpool Airport. So I thought it was kind of perfect. And bearing in mind as well, it was only paying £33. And out of that £33, that included the £5 drop-off fee as well. So technically I only got, what, £28 for that job. But like I said, I was driving that way anyway, and I was going in this car. So I could have drove down there and not picked anybody up, or I could pick this passenger up and drop it off, and at least I got 28 quid for it on the way. But yeah, people who aren't doing that on the way, people are running around and basically doing airport runs for £28. It's mind-boggling. And the thing is, you can't even blame these companies, because if they're putting the jobs out there and people are taking them, then that's not the company's fault, is it? You know, they'll set the standard there, like that job that I took, which was that 33 quid, and the next time they're obviously going to think, hang on a sec, if someone's dumb enough to do that for 33, let's lower it to 30, let's see if we get anyone doing that. And someone will do it. They'll all complain about it online and all in the Facebook forums and all the rest of it. And then they'll think, hang on a sec, someone's stupid enough to do that for 30 quid. Let's drop it to 28 quid. Let's test the water. And then someone will do it for 28 quid, and it'll just keep going down and down and down. And drivers have only got themselves to blame. I understand that, you know, because I do it myself, you're in a bit of a predicament, because it's kind of like, if I don't do it, there aren't any other jobs that are coming up on them particular platforms. And that's why I went and got my own operator's licence. I was applying for that before I had my private eye licence, and they were like, Paul, you can't do that. And I was like, well, can I submit both the forms at the same time? And they were like, no, you can't do that, you need to get your badge first. And then the day they said, here's your badge, I emailed them back with, here's my application for my operator's licence. And they were like, you know, because I was just chasing them, because I knew doing this, the pay is just crap. It is. I know there's times when it's going to be good, but yeah, it's just really shocking at times. So yeah, like I said, that first hour not too bad. Like I said, it was mainly because I got that Southport job, which is giving me that £11 something, because otherwise it would have just been other little, you know, £4 or £5 jobs milling about. So I'll go back online anyway. Now that I've finished waffling. Oh, hang on a second, wants me to take a photo. This is ridiculous, this thing. I don't know why, if you've worked for an hour, then all of a sudden they want you to take a picture. It's not like I've done a 12-hour shift and now I'm jumping out and letting me mate Dave jump in or something to go and do a 12-hour night shift. It's blatantly me. So yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I'm hoping to start doing some videos soon. Basically, I think I'm going to start doing like longer daytime shifts to try and show people that all these videos that I've seen circulating for the past week or so now of these TikTokers and whatnot, they're basically coming on and doing a little one-hit wonder and saying, oh look, I've done a 12-hour shift, look how much money I've made, and then they go back to, you know, driving HGVs, or they go back to doing something else. It's all like these. I've seen another video where it says, oh yeah, me mate, he done all these hours and he's made like £5 grand, and everyone's posting, including myself. So is there any proof of this? Has this guy got a channel or anything like that? No, nothing. You know what, it kind of does me head in, because then it's like it's giving false information out to me. I'm not saying these people are lying, but to me, if you can't back something up, you're talking out your ass as far as I'm concerned. So I was thinking about doing something similar, not because I want to, it's purely basically so people can see this and compare it to all these people who are just basically spreading false information. So yeah, I was thinking about doing that. Don't know when I'm going to start doing that, but I was thinking about it. So yeah, I'll speak to you in a bit. So I thought I'd just give you a little bit of an update on the BP front. So as you know, if you're watching it the other day, because there was an outstanding balance of £44, what they decided to do was put like a freeze on the account until it was paid off. Fair enough. So I called them up on Saturday, I think it was, and the guy had said basically there's no managers that work there over the weekend. He then changed the story to, oh, there is one, but they're busy. Obviously busy having share races around the office or something. He also said, even if you do make a payment, that the...
This is a short survey of 6 questions. You can repeat any question by pressing the star key.
This is the BP.
Let's begin.
I'll explain this in a second.
Overall, how satisfied are you with the service you received from BP Pulse having called us today? Please answer using your phone keypad on a scale of 1 to 5. Where 1 is very dissatisfied and 5 is thank you. Overall, how satisfied are you based on this? Thank you. How easy was it to interact with the BP? Thank you. Do you think your query or issue has now been fully resolved? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no, or thank you. Including today, how many times have you contacted BP Pulse about this specific issue or query? Enter the number of times on your phone keypad. Thank you. The last question requires you to leave a comment. To get started, say OK.
OK.
Let's try again, making sure you say OK loud and clear. The last question requires you to leave a comment. To get started, say OK.
OK.
I didn't understand your response. We appreciate you taking the time to give us your feedback. Thank you for calling BP Pulse today. Goodbye.
Oh, honestly, BP Pulse are the shittest company on the planet to deal with. Do not use them. So yeah, after I spoke to that guy on the Saturday, and he was like, no one's here to speak to you. Even if you do make a payment, it needs to go through the accounts team. We then need to confirm it, so it's in a couple of days' time. He said someone will call you back in 24 to 48 hours, this manager apparently. So no one phoned me back, of course. So I thought, I'll give it all day Monday, see if anyone calls me. Nothing. So I phoned up yesterday, explained it all to this woman again, the full story. She read all the notes and everything. I phoned up on the Monday to ask and explain the story again, and she said the same thing, which was the payment link. She said a manager has to send you the payment link, and then you can pay that balance, and then everything will just all be sorted out magically. But a manager's going to call you back. They should be calling you today because it's been 48 hours since Saturday. So I said, right, okay. So I waited the rest of Monday, nothing. So I phoned them up again yesterday, explained everything to this woman, and she said, oh, sorry, she said, I don't know why the other colleagues have all basically like misinformed you. She said, what needs to happen is, she said, at the moment, she said, the direct debit has been cancelled. So basically that £44 needs paying. She said, so a manager needs to send you that link. You pay the £44, set up a new subscription, and then when the direct debit details for your new bank account are set up on the system, she said, call us back. She said, and then basically it's passed to a manager who then puts your £500 of Uber credit back onto your account. So it changes it from a normal BP subscription to an Uber subscription. So I said, right, okay. So I said to her, but I'm trying to set up this subscription. It's saying it's going to charge me like £8 a month. And she said, oh, it will, but your first month is always free. And when you call us back up anyway, when your direct debit's set up, the manager switches it over from a normal account to an Uber account. So I said, okay, not a problem. So I got off the phone to her, set up a new account, new bank details, and then it come up saying, right, okay, we'll set up your direct debit, blah, blah, blah. Had an email this morning from BP. It says, this is, via Go Cardless, your direct debit is now set up, it's live. BP is now authorised to take payments from your account. So I thought, right, phone BP back up. So I just phoned BP then, spoke to this woman who just wants to speak over me. She's giving me answer after answer after answer, and then she's trying to summarise and get off the call. And I'm like, I haven't even replied to your first answer yet. So basically, The first one, she was saying, payment links don't exist. I don't know what you're talking about. Managers do not send payment links out. And I was like, but all of your other colleagues have told me that. I said, I've also put in multiple requests for the manager to call me back and nobody's called me back. And she was like, all right, I'll put another one in now. She's then saying, I can see on the system there's a payment request which is due to be taken from your account on the 6th. And I said, that's why I phoned up on Monday, because I got an email to say a payment request has gone in and it'll be debited from your account on the 6th. However, that's my old bank account, so that's why I called them up. And that's why the woman yesterday said, make sure you cancel it. She said, you can wait for it just to bounce, because obviously the account doesn't exist anymore. She said, but to speed the process up, cancel it and set up a new account and a new direct debit, which you've done. And she was like, yeah, but there's a direct debit set up. She said, so, you know, we're going to take the money. I said, well, you can't. I said, because the account doesn't exist. I said, neither does the direct debit, because it's been cancelled. I said, I've set up a new account with a new direct debit. So she was like, yeah, but we can't take any money from you, so it hasn't been set up. And I said, it has. I said, I've just read the email out to you, which says, important, confirmation of the setup of your direct debit, instruction to go cardless. BP Pulse can now collect payments from your direct debit. I said, I've got the confirmation here saying that it's all set up. She was like, well, it's not set up at our end. And I was like, well, why would they set it up at my end, saying that you have permission to take it, but then they haven't informed you and you're the person who's taking the money? I said, it doesn't make any sense. So she was being all like arsey on the phone, and I said, look, I said, well, put another request in for the manager. So she's sitting there typing it up. I said, because basically I've been lied to 4 times now. I said, nobody knows what they're talking about. And, you know, you just need to sort it out. I said, I'm chasing you to pay you 44 quid. I said, why? Well, why should I do that? So anyway, she started typing all that up and she was like, right, okay, I'll submit that. And then that last bit at the end, which was on pause, when you phone BP at the beginning, before you speak to anyone, it says, we do a short survey after the call. If you would like to opt out of it, press 2 before you go through. So I don't opt out of it, and I think I mentioned it in my other video. So basically you can leave feedback, and I left the other feedback saying like the other colleague didn't know what day it was and he was lying to me and everything. So she says at the end of the call then, if you have opted in for the feedback, please stay on the line. So I said, okay, not to worry, okay, thanks, bye. And she wouldn't hang up. And the reason she doesn't want to hang up is if she hangs up and you've opted in for the feedback, it then diverts you to the feedback. Now she knows that she's been a snotty bitch on the phone and I'm going to leave her shit feedback. So what she's done is she's put me on mute and kept the call open, hoping I was going to hang up. So I've put her on mute, so we're both sat there on mute. And I know, because years ago when I was about 18, I think it was, I worked in a call centre, so I know you can only stay on mute for so long. It all goes against all these stats, and managers know how long you've kept people on mute, and they can see all the statistics and everything. So I knew at some point she's going to hang up, so she's kept me on mute for about 3 or 4 minutes. So I've started doing the video, and then she's hung up, which has then diverted me to the feedback. So yeah, honestly, BP, nightmare to deal with. It's just like the world's gone mad. Like, nobody can resolve anything. You phone through to like probably a multi-billion-dollar company and they're like, yeah, we can't do anything. They're just robots. They just say there's a direct debit set up, yeah, but the account doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, but the payment's coming out anyway. It's not, because the account doesn't exist. The direct debit was cancelled yesterday. Yeah, but the payment's coming out, and it's like, it's not. How can I pay you by the direct debit? It's pointless. It's like, it's pointless, these people having a job. If they got rid of all them staff, they probably wouldn't charge us as much for the electric when we go and charge up. You know, they've had to bump the prices up because they have to pay all these staff, but all theyese staff aren't doing anything. they're just arsing about. So yeah, another request has gone in to speak to another manager. This is I think the 3rd or the 4th request now. And yeah, and then even they say it can take 24 to 48 hours for a manager to call you back. Like, how many complaints are going in? That there's like up to a 48-hour delay for a manager to phone you back. So as you can see, I leave more feedback just then, and then what normally happens at the end there, but it wouldn't recognise me saying okay for some reason. it then says, please now record a message up to 15 seconds. So then obviously whoever reviews that can see your feedback, and then they can listen to your little 15-second clip. I've got to put my aircon on blowing up at the fan because it's too hot in the window. Yeah, so obviously that video doesn't understand me saying okay to obviously start the feedback process. So yeah, don't use BP would be my advice. Go and use somebody else. So yeah, I'll go back online now. I was online when I was dealing with because I thought it was just going to be a little quick phone call, but it turned into a big palaver as usual. So I'll it's now yeah, I've basically wasted a good 20 odd minutes there. So I'll update you shortly. And I've just got back home, so I couldn't be bothered. I waited around. I had one little job, which was a £4.69. That was a 5-minute job going 1.6 miles. Bearing in mind, I'd wasted like 20 minutes on the phone to BP. I then waited around for about half an hour. Didn't get any job requests whatsoever. I then headed back towards Ormskirk to head home. And in that time I was offered one job, and that was apparently a surge, £41 going from Ormskirk to Stockport, which is like South Manchester. So bearing in mind, swings and roundabouts, whether or not you would do it, but I wouldn't because I don't work that area. So if I take jobs like that, like sometimes I get offered jobs to like Liverpool city centre, if they're like 40-50 quid, I think, well, worst case scenario, I just drive there and I drive back. So that's like a 2-hour job. So I've made, you know, like £25 an hour or something. This one's Stockport. You'd be heading over there now and then heading back kind of in rush hour traffic. So you're looking at absolute best case scenario on the planet, it would be 2 hours, but it's more likely going to take you about like 2.5 hours. It's roughly about 90 miles to get there and back, and it's like 41 quid for the job. So you're looking at, if it was 2 hours, obviously you're on basically just over £20 an hour for the job, which isn't too bad, especially for the dead hours during the day. But then I'm thinking, I'm just not going to add 90 miles onto my car for 40 quid, because then you're running at like what, 40-45 pence a mile or something. It's shocking. It's not for me anyway, you know. Like I said, that's kind of an ideal job if you live or work around Manchester and you've dropped off down this end. Fantastic. You've got a nice little £40 to get back for the hour, but you've got to keep in mind you need to get back from if you're taking these long distance jobs. And like I said, I've done jobs in the past which was around Ormskirk to Manchester Airport. When I first started on Uber, I think I got like £50 or £55, and the customer had paid like 100. I think it was 100 or 110, because again Uber had taken 50% commission. So like that job this morning, which was only a small run, when I got paid £11, Uber I charged them, what was it, 21. So again Uber took 50%. So that little job there, which was a surge, and they're only offering me £41 to do an hour's job, which was 45 miles. You know full well the customers would have been charged like probably about 100 quid or something, especially with it being in the surge. So again, Uber's just taking so much commission. Let me have a look now. If I go to Stockport from my house, granted it's not a surge right at this moment in time, 67, and that's without it being in a surge. So as we all know, it could be anything. It could be another 10% on top of that. It could be 20, it could be 30, depends how big the surge is. So I reckon that customer would have paid at least £70-80 for that job. And again, Uber's offering the driver 41 quid. It's just not for me. So I ignored it. I left the set on until I got all the way home, and that was the only job. So in just over an hour, that was the only job that come through. And to me, again, that just kind of reaffirms that Uber is trying to keep the drivers on £20 an hour, because they know that they haven't given me a job in about an hour, and they know it's going to take me about an hour to do that job. So they're thinking psychologically, the driver's going to think, oh, I'll take it because it's 40 quid, I haven't been offered anything else. And then that basically has given me £20 for the last 2 hours, £20 an hour. And that's what Uber does. It just constantly makes you kind of like chase your tail, thinking the next hour will be better, the next one will be better. I've done nothing in this hour, I'll take this job. And I'm thinking, I don't want to take a £40 job, then I'm in South Manchester in the middle of rush hour, then what do we do? So I just couldn't be faffed. So I phoned the missus, said I'm coming home, tons of garden work to get on with, nice sunny weather, I'll crack on with that. It takes me like 3 hours to come out and cut all the grass and the bushes because there's so many of them. So thought I'd go and do that, because I'd rather do that than sit in traffic in Stockport. So yeah, I know it's only been a short little one, but like I said, it's kind of one of the benefits of Uber is basically, you know, you can just do as and when you please, really, if you've got a little bit of spare time. So anyway, I only done the 4 trips, which was £27.37, and I'd done what, about an hour and a half, something like that. So yeah, not the greatest, but if I wouldn't have done that, I probably would have just have started the garden a little bit earlier. So yeah, I am honestly trying to come out, and I want to start doing some. I've just watched another one. Then there's this guy on YouTube. I don't even know what his name is. He does all sorts of like TikToks and all the rest of it, and he's basically he's popped in and done a 12-hour Uber shift, kind of like Manchester Wigan ways, and I think he's done like 200 and I think it was like an 8-hour shift, and he'd done like 220 quid or something in the 8 hours. It was a bit of a split shift, and it was on a Saturday night. And then he's turned around and said, oh, I've tried to do the best deductions I can, so if I take my car wash off it, if I take the £30 of fuel, depreciation of like 5p a mile, and that's it, ladies and gents. So yeah, I reckon I've smashed about just over £20 an hour there. And I'm thinking, again, it's just false. Like, what happens there? Is your insurance free? You know, I take it, okay, great, he might have paid for his car so he doesn't have a monthly payment, but what about the money you've put in for your badge, your plate, your MOTs, you know, your medicals and all the other things to put on? It's basically saying to people, look, you can go out, you can have a laugh, you can have a little drive round, yeah, and you'll easily smash £20 an hour. It's lies. It's just constant lies, and there's so many people doing it. It just seems to be TikTok and YouTube. It's just full of people, little one-hit wonders popping up here and there saying, oh yeah, Uber's a doddle, you know, and you can easily get like £20 an hour. And they always come out peak time, like this guy. He's come out on a Saturday and he's only managed £20 an hour. I'd be gutted if I came out and done £20 an hour on a Saturday, you know what I mean? Because you should be hitting about £30 an hour. But then it just goes to show he's coming out, he's picking times to maximise his profit, basically just to get likes, just so people go, oh yeah, that's a good video, it's really educational. But then he leaves off half of the deductions that should be coming off, and it's frustrating to watch. It's like funny at the same time, but then it's frustrating because then you can see in the comments underneath people saying, oh, this is great, oh, you know, I'm only on like £11 or £12 an hour, I'm going to jack this in and I'm going to apply for my badge and everything. And people are honestly doing that, thinking they're going to come out and they're basically going to double the wage because these clowns are saying you're going to take home £20 an hour. And people wonder why the industry's on its knees, because it's ridiculous. So anyway, got stuff to do. I will catch you on the next one.